let's start with the team as a whole, because I think that transitions me into Lamar. So, what you saw out of the Baltimore Ravens yesterday is what you see out of a lot of these teams. I talked about the Kansas City Chiefs can flip a switch in the playoffs like every dynasty ever. How many times do we see this where the presumed best team in the league, number one seed, great defense, best record in all of football or in all sports, whatever example you want to use, once they get hit, not even just hit with adversity, once they get hit with the immediate first punch of a champion, and they start pressing. And then when they start pressing and it's not working, they start to panic, they start to make mistakes, and it just costs them at the end. I wrote it down quarter by quarter. First quarter, I don't think there was any major mistakes by Baltimore. But even pregame, Justin Tucker trying to kick on Mahomes and Kelsey's side. Like, is that really that's EBU to be poking? You know, you're playing like the Dylan Brooks role a little bit. Listen, Justin Tucker is one of the best, if not the best kicker of all time. But you sure that's the bear you want to poke? You know, greatest quarterback tight end combo ever. That's the one you want to poke? Are you sure about that? So pregame, already made a mistake. First quarter, didn't see any mistakes by the Ravens. Second quarter, Lamar strip sack. Just didn't see the guy coming from his blind side. Karlaftis recovered and strip sack by Lamar. Okay, there's one mistake. Second mistake, on the last drive for Kansas City before half. Now, this is a big drive here, okay, because at this point, it's 14-7 Chiefs. There's about 2 minutes to go, and the Chiefs are backed up. Where are they out on their side of the field? The Chiefs are backed up at their own 11, so back deep in their own territory. And it's like, okay, if we can get a stop, maybe we can get the ball back, get a field goal. I'm talking about from the Ravens' perspective. Or worst case scenario, we're down 14-7 at the half. We're still within a score. We feel good about ourselves. Let's go get them in the second half. After the first play, Kyle Van Noy, a veteran of all guys, comes in, just shoves Travis Kelce because Kelsey's getting into it with one of the other Ravens players, gets a 15-yard penalty, just hands the Kansas City Chiefs 15 yards. Then, almost immediately later, you have the roughing the passer on Clowney, who, I don't know if he was trying to take Mahomes' head off, but that has got to be, oftentimes the way roughing the passer is called today, there's a lot of, man, the NFL's soft. You knew it was a roughing the passer when the fans of Baltimore were booing when the refs made the call, and then they showed the replay and they went silent. It's like, yeah, that's roughing. Yeah, he like just clubbed Mahomes in the dome. Okay, just try to what? That's not even a football move. What are you doing? Gave him an extra 15 yards, and guess what? The Chiefs got a field goal, and in a game that felt like that was a 10-point game for most of the second half, that did not loom large for the Ravens. My guess is probably did. So that's the second quarter. Third quarter might have been the worst. Lamar hits Zay Flowers on a bomb, gets tackled at the 7-yard line, and then he gets hit with taunting. Now, for the record, I'm the guy, I think like a lot of people, I think I'm in the majority on this, where taunting, my thing is they don't taunt enough. Like I'm like, man, talk your you know what? This is football. This is an alpha dog game. This is a professional sport. You have the right, if you make a great play on somebody, to let them know about it. 98% of the time. Like I saw a tweet by Joe Burrow, let the guys taunt. I agree with that like 98, 99% of the time. But in this instance, Zay Flowers makes the catch. Zay Flowers, tremendous young receiver for the Ravens, great future ahead of him. But he gets up, shoves L'Jarius Sneed to the ground, tosses the football on him, and is talking to him. It's like, bruh, what are you doing? It's one thing to taunt a guy. It's one thing for Tyreek Hill to throw out the peace sign to a defender who's 10 yards behind him. It's another thing to just shove the dude to the ground. That's just unnecessary roughness. And then, as if that wasn't bad enough, the Ravens get down inside the 10. Lamar throws a perfect pass to Zay Flowers, a little crossing pattern, and I think it was Sneed who made the beautiful punch, Charles Peanut Tillman style, at the goal line. Chiefs get that. That's 7 points gone. So there's 3 points you messed up with the two 15-yard penalties. Then there's the 7 points that you missed out on because your guy fumbled at the goal line. And would that have occurred had it not been for his unsportsmanlike penalty? So there's the third quarter. Fourth quarter, Jadeveon Clowney roughing the passer, goes helmet to helmet with Mahomes. What are you doing? Give him a 15 yards. Then you have the Lamar Jackson interception in the end zone. Again, more on Lamar in just a second. The Lamar interception in the end zone. What are you doing? Triple coverage, yes, was likely probably interfered with. Yeah, that's still triple coverage. You don't force that. You got 3 points in your back pocket. So that right there, that's 13 points in a game that they lost by 7. Then you have the, to top it off, the Patrick Queen unnecessary roughness, just shoving my man Trey Smith, just like, it's one thing to commit an intentional 5-yard penalty. It's another to just try and just shove a defenseless dude. Like, what are you doing? 5 15-yard penalties in the game for Baltimore. Uncomposed, rattled, and the moment seemed a little too big for them. Meanwhile, Kansas City's like the Patriots back in the day, where it's, we're going to slowly, we're going to hit them with the first punch early, go up 7-0. We're going to respond when they score, go back up 14-7, and we're just going to kind of slowly grind some clock, these long drives, don't let Lamar Jackson have the football, and wait for them to screw up. Is that not Brady's Patriots to a T? Play it safe, don't make any mistakes, and then when they make a mistake, pounce. Take advantage. That's what the Chiefs have done. That's why I compare them to Brady's Patriots. This Chiefs team, this 2023 Chiefs team to Brady's Patriots back in the day. Baltimore was trying to make the play, when in reality, they didn't have to. They didn't. And even some of those plays, they weren't even trying to make the play. This is where I said where the pressing starts getting your head a little bit, where it's not working, you're trying to do too much, and then your emotions get the best of you. Jadeveon Clowney multiple times, Roquan Smith, Kyle Van Noy, Zay Flowers. Moment looked a little too big for the Ravens in that regard. And for Lamar Jackson, transitioning to him, y'all know how I feel about Lamar Jackson. I think he is, I still maintain he's one of the 3 best quarterbacks in the league. I think Mahomes is the distance between Mahomes and the second best quarterback, Burrow, in my eyes, is like the distance between, what's a good example? Ted Williams and the best hitter of all time. That's what it's that big. And then I think you have Lamar behind Burrow. I think what Lamar did this regular season, and frankly, that last playoff game against Houston was marvelous. He's improved in the pocket. He was the best thrower outside the pocket, according to Pro Football Focus. We know what he can do with his legs, and his leadership's off the charts, and the Ravens offense is a tire fire when he's not in the lineup. That said, there comes a point in time where the playoff resume does matter. Kansas City, for as good as Mahomes was, and he was good. He was not great. He was good. He was very good consistently throughout the day. He made a couple great plays. The throw to Valdes-Scantling, the first touchdown to Kelsey was a dart. Unbelievable throw. But by and large, not going to mess anything up. It's a great defense. Don't give them momentum. Understand what type of game this was. The defensive battle. Points are going to be hard to come by. And Lamar is, again, trying to make the play, trying to get guys back in the game. And again, some of the mistakes the Ravens made had nothing to do with Lamar. The Zay Flowers taunting, the mistakes on defense, Jadeveon Clowney, Roquan Smith, and Kyle Van Noy. But ultimately, I saw multiple times him throw deep balls to Odell or to Zay Flowers or to Bateman, where it's like, man, you had him one-on-one, man-to-man coverage, no safety help, just overshot the guy. Just overshot some of these guys. And a lot of this too is John Harbaugh. That had to be one of the strangest game plans I've ever seen in my life. I'm going to talk more about the Lions later, and defend Dan Campbell for the reason that I'm for a similar logic that I'm criticizing Harbaugh. Dan Campbell stuck to his guns. More on him later. Harbaugh, with a team that was the best rushing team in football, folks. Ravens running backs, this is unreal. In a game that was tight throughout, by the way. It's not like the Chiefs went up big. They had to abandon the run, throw the rest of the game. No. Running backs for the for the Baltimore Ravens had 6 carries for 23 yards. What are you doing? Now, they obviously used Lamar Jackson in the run game. He had 8 carries for 54. In general, 5 yards a carry. Obviously, that's working. Whether it's maybe you get the running game, set up second and short, put Lamar in situations where, okay, we got some momentum, we're feeling good about ourselves, get into a rhythm offensively. You feel like John Harbaugh kind of panicked a little bit, like, man, we got to make that big play in the passing game. You really don't. You really do. I mean, it's great. And listen, they score the touchdown the first drive. It's a great drive. But in general, you got to kind of have a feel for the game. This is what Andy Reid does so well. You got to have a feel for what type of game it's going to be. It's going to be a hard-nosed, physical, defensive battle where, who knows, maybe the team that runs the ball more effectively, whether it's Pacheco in Kansas City, whether it's Gus Edwards in Baltimore, and Lamar Jackson in Baltimore, is going to win the football game. So some of that is on John Harbaugh as well, but for Lamar Jackson, listen, some of those plays by Tom Monken, they were executed well. He just didn't make the plays, didn't make the throws. The reads were off. And if we're going to, and in fairness, I absolutely believe that Lamar Jackson is a better quarterback than Dak Prescott. And y'all know how I feel about Dak. I think Dak is the most over-criticized, outside of Lamar, over-criticized player in the league. Absolutely. That said, I'm looking right at it right now. When you look at Lamar's playoff numbers compared to Dak's, same guy. Dak has one more playoff loss, but they've only won 2 games. Lamar's only been in one more AFC title game than Dak. Dak's passing numbers are exceedingly better than Lamar's. Same dude come playoffs. If we're going to rip Dak to shreds, we got to hold that same energy from Lamar. And frankly, let's be real. I got to hold that same energy from Lamar. If I'm going to criticize Allen for losing to Mahomes and the Chiefs, I'm going to criticize Lamar. Now, I give more energy to the Allen thing because there's this odd thing. Allen's on Mahomes' level. Folks, nobody is on Mahomes' level. Nobody was saying about Lamar coming in this game. They were about Allen. Still, both didn't show up when their teams needed them the absolute most. If we're going to give the energy to Allen and to Dak and to anybody else and to Purdy at times when he struggles when trailing, got to give that to Lamar Jackson. I still think he's unbelievable. I still think the Ravens, he's worth every penny the Ravens paid him. But this one falls on Lamar. This was an issue. All receivers couldn't get open or my receivers were no good. Like in years past when that was a more than valid excuse, defense held Patrick Mahomes to 17 points. Like, that's all you can ask for. Was the coaching and game planning odd? Darn right. It was more than odd. It was bad is what it was. But got to have a better feel for the game if you're Lamar Jackson. I mean, just miss some simple reads, miss some guys deep. Got to get better at that. And the one thing I think Lamar will need to work on this offseason is throwing against the blitz. Like, we think about Jared Goff as a guy who, oh man, he's bad against, or not against the blitz, but bad against pressure. Lamar Jackson was bad against that Kansas City pressure yesterday. That's going to have to be something he improves on. Thanks so much for watching the show on YouTube, and be sure to go click that big red subscribe button and check out the other clips and full shows from Carving It Up Live, as well as our other incredible content creators here on the Grid Network.